Welcome to Beer, Bourbon, and Games. My name is Chris. Today we are sitting at Isaac's. Not normally thought of for beer, but we're here and we're going to actually have some beer and talk to the head brewer today. And we're just going to kick it right off, have him introduce himself and just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into brewing.
Cool. So my name's Alex Painter. I'm the head brewer with Isaac's, in particular at our Lancaster location. I've been involved, primarily in the bar industry is how I got into it. We originally had the old pickle bar here, and I was the general manager, and I was tasked with controlling the costs that were pretty out of line at the time. Really, it grew from there. I was doing some homebrewing stuff. One of our marketing director, Johnny, from our central office, took the PAC class for Brewing Sciences, and he told me about it and actually ended up recommending me. And one other guy named Brian, who works with me here, we both ended up taking that class, knowing that Isaac's was going to open a brewery at some point. We hired another brewmaster who actually didn't work out, and it just so happened that I was next up in line, so I got the spot. They actually brought in some other people to help consult us on some initial stuff as far as equipment, recipes, set up the brewery, but guys from Old Forge and guys from Meetup were instrumental in helping this place get in the first place, so that's kind of the background.
And Mike's a great guy from New Duck. He's very helpful. He's helped a lot of people that I know of. So great person to work with. So when I think of Isaac's, I think of sandwiches, I think of your soup, everything like that. I never really thought of beer. So what made you guys finally decide to dive into beer, and are there any more locations coming out? Because I only knew about the Lancaster one. I found out that there's another one. I believe Mechanicsburg is the other one. How is this going to spread out to all the locations?
Sure. So I guess to answer your first question, first thing that we looked at was we decided, hey, we had a keg fridge where we only had room for sixtels and a couple halves. So we were spending all this money buying all these little sixtels of beer, and it just got to the point where we started saying like, hey, we're starting to see the costs get under control with this bar. We're starting to see a following build here at this bar. So what if we end up making some of our own beer? So the spot that we're sitting in today used to be not part of the restaurant. It used to be a coffee shop for the courthouse up here on Grand Street. I guess it's on Main Street, but anyway, this spot became available, so we said, hey, why don't we turn this into a brewery? But essentially the brewing license is less than 25% of the cost of an actual liquor license, and places like Sheetz and Turkey Hill and grocery stores are buying up all those restaurant licenses. So basically, by selling our restaurant license, we had another restaurant license at the Mechanicsburg location as well. We were able to sell those two and finance like multiple brewery projects. So the next couple locations are right now Rossmoyne, which is Mechanicsburg area. That is a tasting room for this location. Hopefully by the end of the month, our Greenfield Road location up here is going to be open for a tasting room. We actually just finished construction there, and the restaurant is reopened, but we're not serving alcohol there yet because we haven't gotten inspections. So we're waiting on an inspection there, and we have a brand new store opening up at right off of Springwood Drive in Lebanon. That's going to be a brewery as well. So there's going to be 2 more tasting rooms associated with that location as well. They're both, this location and Lebanon are both 7-barrel brew houses, 3 fermentation vessels each, and for now that's going to be where all our beer gets made, between those 2 locations.
As a brewer, what is your favorite and your least favorite style to make?
That's a good question, man. I really like I like making dark beers. The mash smells great. There's lots of different stuff you can do with them. For some reason, I've had really good luck with them turning out really well, like to the point where I'm super, super happy with them. I like making IPAs too. IPAs are, like they're straightforward, but they're complex at the same time with you know, all the different hop flavors. Almost all of ours are just straight 2-row. I mean, we do a hazy that's, you know, we were trying to get the New England style milkshake down, but it ended up being more of a hazy IPA type setup, hazy juicy, if you will. But man, I like my dark beers, and I like making classic styles too. I really like brewing. I mean, you can go to any of our spots and look at our draft list, and it's primarily like classic beer styles.
I mean, I am enjoying one of your classic styles right now. You can't go wrong with a Pilsner. It's clear, it's very refreshing. It has like a nice little honey sweetness note to it as well. So very, very good overall. And it leads perfectly into my next question. As a brewer, how do you feel about apps like Untapped? Do they bother you? Do they? Most people, it's a love-hate relationship because everyone's an expert.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about them?
I don't care. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinions. I do think that, like, you know, I don't go on there and read the reviews. I have other people that work with me that tell me about the reviews, and we've gotten a few bad ones here and there, and from the most part, from the comments, it's sort of like I can kind of tell you don't really know what you're talking about sometimes. You know, whether it's good or bad. It's like, you know, there's sommeliers for wine. There's people who take the Cicerone courses for beer. And you know, if somebody was like, if somebody came over and was like, man, you really got like a diacetyl or dimethyl sulfide taste in this, you know what I mean? Or they would say, you know, something where it's against the style guidelines. I get that, you know what I mean? And I'm certainly not going to sit here and act like I'm the best brewer in Lancaster County or anything like that, you know. But it's a little silly. I got people want those little badges and stuff, I guess, more than anything else. You know, it's cool. People, hey, if it's fun, it's fun. You know what I mean? But just realize when you're putting 1 star on something, that sometimes that's somebody's livelihood, and I don't know. That's not something I've had a problem with. But yeah, I guess that's my general feeling on it. It's whatever.
I do wish that there was 2 parts to Untapped, more of like if you're a professional, somehow you were vetted in the system, and then normal consumers, because there are people that go, I hate sours, 1 star, why did you order it? If you don't like any sour, I'm probably not going to like your sour.
Yeah.
Luckily, I like all brewing styles, so I can go the full gamut, but there are plenty of people that just trash a style for absolutely no reason. Constructive criticism is more important than anything. So when you said diacetyl, and it, you know, is it green? Is it not ready? Is it re-fermenting? Like, there are certain things that you can tell a brewer, and then maybe you can change that batch. But you know, you got to be constructive in there. So if you guys are watching and you're on Untapped, leave some good criticism. And actually, be honest, I know some people that go to their favorite local brewery and everything is a 5-star. Let's be honest, not everything is a winner, and people need to know that so they know what's working and what's not working. They can tell with sales numbers, but at the same time, that truthful feedback is always going to help them make a better batch. Because if they think you guys love something and you're really just blowing smoke up their ass, it's not going to help them. So overall, we want to get good feedback to these people, because like he said, it is his livelihood. He's trying to improve for you guys. So you're helping yourselves. Now here's one, I'm going to go with Untapped because it's fun and there are some crazy beer names. So what's harder for you, making new beer recipes or coming up with beer names?
I hate naming the beers. Usually, like, I leave it up to our marketing director and the other brewer, Brian. For the most part, like, if I have an idea I feel really strongly about, like, I'm about it. But man, it's not my thing. You know, like, I don't know. If it was my brewery, I would be like West Coast IPA number 2. You know what I mean? Like New England IPA number 3. Whatever it would be. Naming the beers is cool, and every once in a while you hit on a name that like connects with people for whatever reason, which is a cool thing. But for me, I personally hate naming them. I like writing the recipes. Like I said, I like doing classic styles. I look at the BJCP guidelines. and I really base a lot of stuff off that. So, not to say we don't try and do some adventurous stuff from time to time, but that's kind of what I'm focused on. I mean, it's with Isaac's, like you were saying about earlier, with it not, people don't associate it with beer, especially if you've never been here to the one in Mechanicsburg. If you're going to one that's in the burbs or something, you might not have any idea that we have a bar. But coming up with food pairings, that kind of thing is what we're going for a little bit more than trying to reinvent the wheel.
That's exactly what I was going to ask next. It wasn't a question on here, but it was hitting in my head of food pairings, special food nights, stuff like that. Because there are some beers that they're great by themselves, but when you get something with it, really unlocks it. Like a stout with some meat or anything like that. Like it's really good on those regards. So yeah, stuff like that. Leverage what you have as your strength here. You've got good food. It's an established brand. Now it's time to just pair the two worlds together and see how far you can go.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of a deeper question for you. I know you're a little bit newer to the beer industry, but who would you say is the most influential person to you in the beer industry?
That's a good question, man. You know, as far as like direct influence, guys that I've actually been around, Jared Barnes from Collusion was the main teacher for my hat class. I very much enjoyed his teaching style and his company. I'm a big Collusion fan. I think they're one of the best breweries around for sure. You mentioned Mike Brubaker earlier from Blue Duck. He's somebody that's just always been close with us. I did my internship there. I've probably known him for longer than any other like quote unquote professional brewer for a long time. And also, I would say Darren Stonecipher from, not necessarily a local place, but he's from Old Forge up in Danville.
Okay.
Great guy, really helped me a lot. Personally with learning, a lot of stuff just about gear, like fluid dynamics. He's an engineering student, so his like engineering aspect really helped me when I'm switching from putting stuff in a carboy to using a 7-barrel, stainless steel fermenter. So those guys for sure. And then just, I'm from Harrisburg, so like Trogs has always been like, when craft beer started really kicking, it was probably right when I was 21, like early to mid 2000s, and it was just like Nugget Nectar Man, Mad Elf, Trogs was just like, I worked at Nito Burrito for a long time, and used their beer to make hard chili and stuff like that. Got to go down to the old brewery when it was in Harrisburg before it moved to Hershey a bunch. And Trogs and Victor are my PA.
Some damn good places.
Yeah.
Trogs is at that weird spot right now where they're extremely big, but they're not as big as, say, Anheuser-Busch and all those.
Right.
So a lot of people are starting to get into that mood of they hate, Trogs and Victory because they're too big, and that frustrates me. Like, you want these little people to get successful, but then when they get successful, you then hate them. So it's ridiculous.
That's a shame.
It really is. I can't stand it. The beer industry is weird sometimes. Trogs is great. It's really hard to determine what's my favorite seasonal. Like every time I'm like, oh, it's Nugget. Nope, it's this. And Troganator comes out, or I'm aging Mad Elf from 2016. What's it going to taste like? So there's a lot of good stuff. It is exciting how you guys have kind of all reached out together. You guys work together, which leads directly into something that I think is fantastic. My closest local brew is Poor Man's Brewing Company. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
They started the Lancaster Brewing Guild. I know you guys are in that.
Yeah.
So what does it mean for you to be in there, and how's it been so far to be in that guild?
Good. We've done 2 collaboration brews so far. I actually usually our marketing director goes to the meetings instead of me because I actually have my little boy. They always have their meetings on Tuesdays, and I always have my little boy on Tuesdays. So I haven't gotten to be there too much, but obviously Ryan and Mike Brubaker too are, those guys are pretty tight, and they keep me in the loop. Between our marketing director, Johnny, and Mike, they keep me in the loop with what's going on. There's another collaboration beer coming out. I don't have the exact release date for it yet, but I believe, not to speak out of school, I believe it's getting kegged next week. So that'll be something to look out for soon. But it's been cool. I've seen a lot of different, LBC did a tap takeover with a bunch of, did a tap takeover for the Guild beers. This might have been back in September or October, something like that. But there's also there's an email chain where everybody's in there. If you're looking for a little bit of a certain special ingredient, or I've seen people ask for advice on. Somebody just asked about fruit the other day, what ratio of fruit puree they want to use in their beer, and there's a lot of responses and stuff going back and forth where it's cool. I don't, like I said, I don't always participate in it as much as I'd like to, but it's definitely nice that there's that sharing of information, and people seem to get along with each other for the most part. So.
Definitely long overdue. I'm glad that there is something like that around here.
Yeah.
Everyone that I've talked to has said the same thing, where there's, hey, I need this in a pinch, and 4 people reach out and say that they have it. So you did speak about, I believe it's called Countywide too as well. You're keeping the same name. What style is that one?
I believe it is a Helles Bock. I could be mistaken about that.
Okay.
I'll have to double check that. It's a kind of Bock beer. I know that. So.
The first one was fantastic. I know I had it at, here, I had it at Rainy, I had it at Outtown, I had it at Poor Man's, and Mood Dog. I just wanted to make sure I went everywhere just to sample it, make sure that it was all the same. It was for science, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for you guys for having that. There is a website, there's an Instagram, there's a Facebook, so if you guys are interested, or if you're a home brewer, you're opening up a brewery, Ryan is a good person to talk to, Mood Dog, Mike, all those people are really good. I'm glad that they're helping you guys out as well, which is awesome, because, you need all the help you can get, moving from nothing to a big brewery is definitely a big change. So what in your mind separates Isaac's from other breweries around?
That's a good question. Part of the thing I see a lot with breweries is the menu ends up being sort of an afterthought, or I see a lot of places with really good beer and the food is not that great. And we kind of have an established thing here with our food. We're trying to do some new stuff with it as well. Outside of that, Isaac's is a good place to work, man. You get benefits for 30 hours. We employ almost 400 people, and before COVID, it was over 500 across 5 counties. So we have a little bit of power as far as we can negotiate good health insurance for good benefits for our employees. There's opportunity to move up. I worked my way up. I started as a sandwich maker, and I've had other side jobs and times where I left before and came back, and I've worked my way up to this point where I'm the primary brewer for these guys now. And like I said, it's a good place to work. I get treated with respect, and I've met a ton of cool people through just working at Isaac's. My coworkers are awesome for the most part. And it's right now we kind of have a little bit of momentum with opening up these new locations and these new breweries, and it's been a good thing for me personally. So
good. Being the head brewer, do you have full say in your recipes and everything you're doing, or do you have
the recipes? Yeah, I collaborate with the other guy, Brian, and me are fairly tight. We work pretty well together. We have sort of a general list of. We usually want to have about 5 IPAs on, 4 or 5 IPAs, and that's kind of something that comes down from the office. But if I really wanted to, I could talk my way out of it. I feel like, but I think we're doing pretty good about keeping some seasonal stuff. We're trying to find what our flagship beers are right now. But But for the most part, like, nobody looks at my recipes. I mean, they make sure that they're not costing, $1,000 for a 7-barrel batch and everything like that. But, that's about the extent of it. As long as I'm keeping the purchases under control, I have pretty free reign, so it's pretty nice.
Good. And you said it's just you and Brian then, for the brewers? And how often are you guys brewing?
Right now, we're trying to get caught up because we actually, at the beginning of January, we sold. We knew this brew system was coming, so we had to get our other. We have a 7-barrel now. We had a 3.5-barrel before, and the 3.5-barrel wasn't keeping up. So we listed it on a classified website, and we sold it in like 6 days. So we did not think we were going to sell it that fast, but a lot of big places are looking for smaller pilot type systems right now. So, excuse me. Aluminum is expensive, stainless steel is expensive, all that kind of stuff. We had to wait a long time just to get this stuff shipped overseas. So it's been made for a long time. We're sort of playing catch up right now. Before that, we were basically brewing once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes less than that, depending on where we're at. At this location in the city, it just is the way it is. It's a little bit slower in the wintertime. During the summertime, we have the patio open and everything like that. It's nice, but we brewed 3 times in the last 7 days right now. So we're trying to get some stuff ready for our Greenfield location and get some stuff ready for our Lebanon location. Our Lebanon location, we literally just got the equipment delivered there today. So it's probably going to be a little while until we get everything up and running up there. But we're starting to build up to, especially with summer coming. I mean, it feels like springtime out today, but summer's coming soon, and we'll start getting hit pretty good. So.
And you said you're brewing out of that Lebanon location as well?
Yeah.
So yeah, it might take you a little bit to figure out the water system up there, figure out all that difference compared to Lancaster water, all those things. Are you hiring a separate brewer then as well, or?
No. So actually, I recently became a brewer in a full-time capacity about 4 or 5 months ago. Brian's sort of part-time. We actually have, excuse me, we have some other plans for another brewery up in the Harrisburg area that I can't really say too much about right now. But he's going to sort of do that location, and then I'm going to bounce back and forth between here and Lebanon. That's the plan right now. We'll see how it goes. So.
You did mention COVID a little bit. Obviously, it impacted everybody. It seems like we're finally on the tail end. Things are hopefully back to normal. I hope they don't regress. There's always something in the news, so I try not to watch it because it's depressing. How did it impact you? Because I know off camera we kind of talked that you started right when COVID started. So how did that affect kind of you guys when you got started?
Yeah, it was tough, man. I mean, we had to go. Isaac's as a company furloughed a lot of people because we have table service, and anyone that couldn't do more besides wait tables. Not that there's not a lot of skill associated with that, but if there was people that couldn't work back of house, they basically got furloughed. So, we went from having almost, I think about 25 employees to having 7, including myself, in a week or so. So it was tough, and our sales went down. Again, that's one of those things too, where it's, it's nice to work for a company that has a little bit of power as far as, we represent X amount of employees, because we were able to go out and get some of those federal loans right off the bat. You know what I mean? So that was helpful. Over the summer we started getting bonus pay and stuff like that. So it was nice. I mean, life was kind of, things mostly sucked, but I had a job, and it could have been a lot worse for me. So but yeah, right then we sold our liquor license in 2019. We sold it to Turkey Hill. they had a good faith agreement with us for a while to let us continue using it until they opened up their location with it. So they ended up getting it from us in, I think it was the end of October 2019, and we started construction here in the brewery like that December. So COVID hit following March, and we started brewing like the first week of April, I think, and couldn't sell any beer for whatever it was until the end of June, I think it was, something like that. But yeah, it hurt us. I mean, downtown was closed. We get a lot of sales from the courthouse. A lot of people from the courthouse come down here for lunch. That was all closed. We're in the Fulton Bank building. All those people were working remotely, so it hurt downtown. I mean, there's still restaurants closed. The restaurant just closed. Like, it's really a shame. But
They closed fully?
not yet. They're closed. They're not closed. I think they're open for like another week or two. But yeah, they're done. So that was like one of those places where didn't think that one.
Yeah,
I
they've
thought
been
there
there
were a lot of
for a
other
long
places that
time.
would go first. So yeah, it's still affecting us, but
Well, hopefully things are on the up and up. Weather's getting nicer. People are walking around town, thankfully. Mother Nature needs to figure out what she's doing. 70 a few days ago, snowed yesterday. I don't get it. I have one last one here for you. What is your ultimate goal in the beer industry?
that's a good question, man. You know, really, like, personally, like, I want to be able to do a good job with all this stuff so that my coworkers, bartenders, managers, servers, this isn't me blowing smoke, but I want them to be successful. I want to give them a good quality product that they can sell to be successful. You know, at the end of the day, it's a business. As far as like, you know, the artistic aspect, if you will, of brewing, the creative aspect, I hope everybody likes it. You know what I mean? I really do. As long as my friends, my family, my coworkers like it, say it's good, that's pretty much good enough for me. I'm not, you know, I didn't go over to Germany for 15 years to, you know, become a brewmaster or anything like that. I'm just doing my best with it, and I'm pretty happy with that. So, like I said, you know, I hope it works for us and expands our business, and you know, makes my coworkers successful, and gives them the tools if they want to go do something else, if they want to open their own brewery. You know what I mean? That's cool. That would be awesome. So that's pretty much it.
Well, I'd say cheers, Alex, for sitting down here with me. Obviously, your beer's good. I already finished my Pilsner. I'm going to go for another one for sure. I heard it's still a happy hour, so I'm going to sit down there with it. I'm going to give you one last chance. You can say anything you want at all to people watching this interview. What would you like to say to them?
You know, people are really at each other right now, man. You know, I just want everybody to be cool, be good to each other, be kind. It's not that hard, so peace.
Good words, good words. If you have never gone to Isaac's, or you had no idea they had beer, or whatever in between, come on down. They obviously are going to open up a few more locations, like he said. Try their beer. It's fantastic from what I've had so far. I've been here a few times, and I've not been disappointed. They're kind of doing their own thing, which I like. So definitely, guys, come on down. And if Alex is here, say hi to him. I don't know how often he's here, but if he's here, say hi. Shannon, the bar manager, is also really cool. She's nice as well. But if you guys are new to the channel, think about hitting the subscribe button, hit a like, leave the comments down below, and until next time, guys, I'll see you back on the channel.